All right. What's up, everybody? Steven here, the Horror Freak 85, doing episode 49 tonight. We're almost at our 50th episode.
Wow.
Tonight, yeah, I know. In just a couple minutes, Ellen Udi will be joining us. So we'll go ahead and actually, sooner than we thought. All right, there we go.
Hello.
Hello.
Didn't have a sip of my tea here, but you
Ah,
caught me.
go for it. That's all right. So, how are you doing tonight? Have a good week?
Yeah, I had a great week. Had a very interesting week.
How so? What was going on? If you want
Well,
to
the
share.
weirdest thing is I had this premonition that I should be. I mean, I'm an animal person, as you know, and I had this premonition that something terrible was going to happen. I had to be prepared for it.
Mm.
And 2 days ago, I was on my way home from a friend's birthday, my friend Ronnie Angel, who's also my roommate, at midnight. And right in front of my house, there was a possum kind of flipping on the road. And I was like, oh my God, it had obviously been hit by a car. And so I stopped my car. All the cars, they don't care. They're going to run right over that possum anyway, right?
Right.
Leave people. Anyway, I stopped my car and I opened both my car doors so nobody could pass. And I grabbed this possum and I put him on this on the side of the grass and went and parked my car. It was right in front of my house. And I thought, you know what? He's probably dead, but I should probably check on him. And I went back to check on him. It looked like his heart was beating. And further observation revealed that it was a female and that she had 9 little possums in her pouch.
Oh.
And had I not pulled that possum off the road, all those 9 little souls would have been crushed because those cars thought this is roadkill. What do we care? Right.
They wasn't hit or hurt by the mama getting hit.
Miraculously, the mother got hit in the head and the babies, they were fine. They were still suckling. They had no idea what was going on. 9 little babies, no idea what to do with them. Anyway, make a long story short, it took me 24 hours, but with a lot of help from Facebook and friends and friends of friends and friends of friends. I drove miles and miles and miles because people kept turning me down. Oh, we're full up with our possums. There are too many baby possums. We can't take them. I thought if I show up in person, nobody's going to turn these babies down because they're so beautiful.
Right.
But they did anyway. And they kept referring me somewhere. I was on my way home at about 4:00 in the afternoon. I've been doing this all day and really worried about the possums because I didn't know what I was feeding them. I had no idea what I was doing. I was scared I was killing them anyway. A possum rescue, Pacific Wildlife Possum Rescue, Wildlife Rescue. A woman called me. Her name is Linda. She lives literally 2 minutes from my house. And I drove to her house after the whole circuit of driving 50 miles out of my way and found her beautiful house. And it's got chickens and puppies, and she's a wildlife rescue. It's just right in the middle of the city. It's amazing. And she took these little possums off my hand. But I just thought, first of all, it's so good to listen to your instincts. I had a premonition that something terrible was about to happen, and I needed to be eyes open. And then just the fact that I thought that possum was dead, but I couldn't leave it. I couldn't let other people crush it again. I just something felt immoral about, leaving this animal. I'd seen it flip a couple of times and then stop. And I just felt like it was immoral to leave it there to further crushed by the midnight traffic. And I'm so glad that I did that. It's the most
always trust your gut.
Yeah, pulling these little possums out of this dead possum's pouch. It was incredible.
But what's crazy is the same thing happened to me twice.
Oh, really?
Twice. And the first time, or I think the second time, no, it was the first time one baby was out. I guess they weren't ready to be born yet. They were too young, unfortunately. So I don't know if they were about to give birth or if they were, I don't know how old they were, but they didn't survive. Right. One of them, I guess, maybe got hit too or wasn't moving, and it was outside of the mother. And I could see more moving and I got like newspapers and like stuff because I didn't really want to touch it, but I wanted to like I wanted to see what I could do. So I got like a knife. I mean, I didn't cut it open, but I like lifted up the to see what was going on. And unfortunately, I couldn't get to what was moving inside, and they were probably too early anyway. So unfortunately, nothing I could do.
They're pinkies. You can't do anything about. They
exactly.
Once they get fur on them, they're good. But if they're pinkies, they're dead.
Yeah. And then there was the second time, there was a couple of them, and that I was able to get a couple of them, and we had them, but they wouldn't take anything. We tried to give them to drink or eat, whatever. We weren't really sure what to do, but we were trying to keep them alive. And unfortunately, before we could get them anywhere, they ended up passing, but couldn't do anything about it. But
I was so nervous that was going to happen to me. I had these 9 little babies, and I'm like, oh my God, what if I feed them the wrong thing? Because they shouldn't have cow's milk, and there's puppy milk that's okay, and there's puppy milk that isn't okay, and the puppy's milk needs to be diluted and whatever. I'm going to get an education because I'm going to start working with this lady at Pacific Wildlife Center because I'm so thrilled. She lives 2 minutes away, and I can go hang out with some chickens.
Yeah, I've had a couple of chickens myself in the past. Yeah, so,
I mean, who's your friend there?
Yeah, I see.
Oh yeah, you see. Yeah, this is my foster, and his name is Fred, and he is the size of a Great Dane.
Oh,
and he's got a ball in his mouth. That's what the thing is. Hang on.
Let me try something here. Might be able to get a better view.
Oh, me and the ball. What's more important than you and the ball, huh, Fred? Oh, I dropped it.
I was trying to get like a better view of. I was moving the camera around to see if.
Well, he'll be back. He's just got to find the ball. We've distracted him for a minute. Oh, am I frozen?
It did for a little bit, but we're good now.
Just for a couple of seconds.
He'll come back. Okay, don't worry. Fred will bother me again. He likes to be in the picture. There's nothing I can do about it.
Oh, that's fine. You'll probably hear mine bark eventually because we have a Ring doorbell, and every time it goes off, which we have it lower, so it shouldn't hear on here, but she knows that means somebody's in front of the house, so she'll go scurrying and start barking. So my dog barks all the time. You're fine.
Yeah. So
you just put up with it.
So is he a mixed breed? You said he's big as a Great Dane.
He's almost as big as a Great Dane. He's a German Shepherd. I think he's a German Shepherd Great Dane mix. So he's a little smaller than a Great Dane, but he's a big boy. He's a big boy. He weighs as much as I do.
Oh my!
I'm small and he's big, so we meet in the middle. Yeah, he's a big boy. Yeah, if he wants to lean on me, I have to hold a wall or something because he's so heavy. You know how dogs do that leaning thing? I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna fall over. But anyway,
it's like I'm too big. It's like, you're too big. I love you, but
yeah, he's overwhelming. He's really overwhelming. But he's my foster, and I know he's gonna find a beautiful home because he's gorgeous and he's fun and he's sweet. Right? Oh, here he's back. Hang on a minute. Anyway, I won't encourage him.
Well, it's okay if he makes an appearance. We don't mind. We love the animals.
Yeah, we're not animal appearances. It's all good. But that's crazy that happened with you with the possums, though, because I went through the same thing, and it's just so crazy.
It's so scary when you have little lives in your hands, and you're like, oh my God, like I'm so glad they didn't die. I called the lady today because I fed them the wrong kind of thing. She said, no, don't worry, they're okay. But it's so like my heart, like the whole day, my heart was breaking. Oh, that's such a good ending, though.
At least it worked out. So saved 9 lives.
Yeah, it worked out.
Doomsday Crypt John is here. He said hi to you and the rest of us.
Hello.
Hey, John, how's it going? I guess we'll go ahead and start back. What were some of your favorite movies and inspirations when you were growing up?
Oh, when I was growing up, oh gosh. I fell in love with Marlon Brando in The Wild Ones. And I was like, Mom, I'm in love with Marlon Brando. I had no idea that he was like already ancient at the time. I mean, he wasn't that ancient, but he was in Godfather 2 was opening up or something. I had no idea. I just saw him in The Wild Ones. So he was my first movie crush. Movies come to mind, like really sad movies like La Strada. It's an Italian movie. I can't remember who did it. And Anthony Quinn plays this circus guy. So my first intrigue with the circus, and he's a traveling circus. And he picks up this girl on the road, this woman on the road, and she's a crazy little clowny character. Can't remember her name. She's played it so well. Anyway, he's very, very mean to her. It's a very sad story. And I never forgave Anthony Quinn. Now we're talking Anthony Quinn at the time was also like, I just saw a lot of old movies because we had a repertory theater by our house. So we'd go to the, pay like the, as kids, we could afford $1 for a movie or whatever at the time. It might even have been 50 cents. So we'd go see all these repertory movies. So I saw a lot of rep movies, but the most influential movie that was obviously influential to me was a movie called Gallipoli. It was an Australian movie, and it was Mel Gibson's first movie. And it's about the Boer War. And I just remember distinctly in the last scene, the Australians lose. What do you call that when you tell the people the ending of the story?
Spoiler.
Yeah,
Spoiler, the Australians lose. But they're all in the trenches and they're talking to each other, and they know they're going to lose. They know they're going to meet their deaths if they leave those trenches, and they huddle up and they decide that they're going to defend Australia at all costs. And I just remember them coming out of the trenches, and the slow-mo, all of that stuff, right? Tears are streaming down my face. And I sort of like the first one, not Mel Gibson, but the other lead gets hit. Obviously, he dies. And I just remember, like, I was so emotional that the impact of the bullet felt like it really hit me. And I was like, oh my God. And I leant forward. And as I was coming back, I realized that everybody in the movie theater had done what I had done. In this tiny little rep theater, there was maybe 4 or 5 people. It was like a weekday or whatever. But at that moment, we all felt this sadness and this pain and this tragedy. And that's what got me hooked on acting, actually, is this feeling like we were all together in this really sad experience, that we understood something together at that moment. And that, to me, is what acting has always been. Always been that for me, that an opportunity to connect with people in the dark about things that are really hard to say, that words aren't enough for, or so yeah.
That's awesome. John says Legend of a Guess, he's a big fan of yours, so.
Oh, thank you.
So, I'll just read the comments. I don't know if you can see them or not. Usually you have
no,
to
I can't see them. No.
So I'll just relay I'll just relay them all to you.
Yeah, we normally read them out anyway, so you don't have to worry about them.
But yeah, that's really great about the movies. Was there any time besides those that you were into horror, or did that come later on?
Oh, no, it took me a very long time to really appreciate horror. Even after my Bloody Valentine, I wasn't a horror fan. I was a Canadian actor, and we just took every part that was given us very seriously. If it was Shakespeare, we were going to do 150%. If it was a horror movie, we were going to do 150%. We were in non-judgment. We were just like, give me the work. I'm Canadian, and these things don't happen very often. So, but for me, it was just a movie. It was a movie. It was a story about kids, and I was one of them. And, and I think that all of us were like that. We were not, as actors, trying to do a horror movie. We were just trying to do a good job and create a story. And George Mahal had never done a horror movie before that either. So, it took me a while to really appreciate horror movies. And I'll tell you what I think. I think that, the early part of my life was really gifted. Like, sure, I experienced some terrible things in childhood, teenagers, whatever. Parents never totally get it right, and so we all have stories. But ultimately, I experienced a lot of wins as a kid. My first audition for theater school, I got it. My first television show, I got it. My, everything. I was really lucky. And it was only later in life, when terrible things start to happen, as they do to everybody, and you experience little traumas and big traumas and whatever, that I started to enjoy horror movies. Because, oh, come on, Fred, you're moving everything. Move over, buddy. Because of the catharsis. So I started to need more catharsis in my life, and I started to appreciate the thrill of being like, oh my God, you know, that thing that takes you off your own worries, you know. So gosh, it wouldn't have been until my mid 40s that I actually started to appreciate horror movies and started to do a lot more of them too. But I like ghost stories. I like sci-fi. I like stories. I'm not a gore person.
I'm the same, and I like same with you. Is like I didn't get introduced to horror till like later on in like my teenage years, and I had a lot of stuff happen to me that I don't really talk about, but
right.
It's cathartic, and it gets you to like experience things without like a home invasion movies. That's something similar to something I experienced, but instead of like sitting and have to deal with it on your own, you see the people usually fight back or empower and beat the person that. So it's like it powers you to like help you like deal with it.
Yeah, no, I think so. I mean, I think all the horror movie fans I ever meet anywhere are the nicest people in the world.
Oh, yes.
You think that they'd be all crazy, demonic. Stop it, Fred. You're ruining everything. Get back, buddy. Get back. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Fred, he wants me to play with a ball. You can't tell him that I'm on a Zoom call. Okay, well, come on up, then. Decide. Make a decision, Fred.
Oh, I see there's another one beside you too, or something.
Oh, I have 8 dogs.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'm gonna be leaning on him because he's gonna be leaning on me. But yeah, where were we? Yeah, horror movies. I've got a horror movie behind me right here with this dog.
Kind of like Cujo.
Oh, exactly. Fred, show your face because it's a beautiful face. Yeah, this face. Oh. That face with a ball.
Yes. I love it.
Could have planned better, but you know, if I didn't leave him if I didn't let him come in here, he'd be banging on the door like literally.
Oh, it's
a bang. And so I'm like, oh my God.
So we love the animals. It's absolutely fine. So
horror and animals, you know, that's our channel. So it's
there you go.
Yeah, sometimes my cat makes an appearance.
Yeah.
My dog freaks out when I try to pick her up, so I don't usually.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said, no, sometimes my cat makes an appearance, but my dog freaks out when I try to pick her up in this like small space, so she's usually not on here very much. But
Doomsday wants to know, has conventions added to your enjoyment, reflecting on your films?
You know what? I do very few conventions. I think we might have one coming up in Kentucky in June with Sean Clark is the guy, the manager. But
I know Sean. He's a cool guy. Yeah.
So I think he's organizing one in June. But I generally do not do conventions unless the whole cast is invited. I don't know why. It's not, it's just people aren't interested in me unless I'm with the whole cast of My Bloody Valentine. But when we do conventions, it is a party. Yeah. We have so much fun. We just love it. It's like old home week. Some of us live in New York, some of us live in Toronto, some of us live in BC. I live in Los Angeles. So it's just an opportunity for everybody to get together because, life is busy. It's hard to make an excuse. So this is the perfect excuse. George just came back from, I can't remember, Yugoslavia or something. He was doing a whole series. So yeah, I love conventions with the cast, and I rarely get asked on my own. And I have to be honest that the few times I've done them on my own, it hasn't been very fruitful because, William Shatner's a little more popular. Everybody wants Billy Zane's autograph. They don't care about mine. It's like, so I'm not that popular. Let's be honest.
Well, one of my conventions, this was before Gunnar Hansen passed away, but they had a bunch of people from like one of the Jason movies.
Gunnar Hansen, who's that?
The original guy from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh,
Leatherface.
Yeah, I don't know anything. Anyway, before he passed away, what did you say?
But before he passed away, I seen him at convention. Like nobody was going to him, and he's like the original like Leatherface guy. And as soon as I saw him, I like beeline to him, and he was like so happy that somebody went and talked to him for
That's
so long. We talked to him
bizarre.
for like 45 minutes.
Oh, that's so weird. Well, maybe they just didn't know who he was.
Yeah, I think it's because they had like, Jason was doing full makeup. Kane Hodder was doing full makeup Jason, and they had a bunch of cast from that. And so there was other people there that people's wanting
They
to
were
do.
outshining him in their production.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was shortly before he passed away.
Wow. Lucky you got him and made his day.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, when you're sitting at that table like a prancing poodle, looking around, they've got that YouTube video of the dog at the shelter, and he's, it's from behind him, and he's waiting for the people, and he just keeps looking to left and right, and nobody passes, and nobody stops for him. It's the saddest thing. Well, that's me, the convention. It's like, hello. Nobody.
Well, that would be more time for us to hang out if you go to
exactly. See, now that you know.
So, kind of like I couldn't believe this. This was when Walker Stalker Con first did their first year convention. They sort of advertised it. Well, what they thought was like a horror convention, not Walking Dead. And they had Adam Green was there, who's done the Hatchet films and Frozen and all that. Joe Lynch, who's directed some movies, and the rest of the Holliston cast. And they were like set way in this back corner. I was like, oh my gosh. And like people didn't even know they were there because all these Walking Dead people were there. Andrew Lincoln was there. And like I knew who they were. I met them in Orlando and was there in Atlanta. I was like talking, chilling with them the whole weekend. And I actually brought people to their table because I was like, who's here? I'm like, I'm Green. I'm like, yeah, they're in the back. Like, I don't know why.
Right. So people at the front, people get stuck and they pay all their money at the front. And if you're at the back, it's like they're like, can I get a picture with you? that's all. They've got nothing left, So yeah, it's funny.
But it was cool though. I actually brought some people back there and everything. So
yeah, that's very cool.
But they were kind of ticked.
I'm gonna call you if I ever get to another convention.
Yeah, he seems like a convention master.
Oh yeah, I know you. Yeah, I could even like maybe talk to Petey if you ever want to come to Orlando. There's a really good one called Spooky Empire.
I would love it. How fun! I mean, that's half the fun is meeting fans and seeing people, and yeah, absolutely, I'm up for it.
So yeah, I'll let Petey know. So yeah. It's probably too soon, but they're doing one in June. Kerr Smith is going to be there. Julie Benz, Dee Wallace is going to be there too. So it should be interesting. So it's a good one, but yeah, I mean, if you ever want to come to Orlando, that's a great one.
I do. Just tell them to bring me along.
So yeah, I'm sure enough people will want to meet you.
I have family in Orlando. I do.
Oh, okay. So
there. So that would make it a double trouble thing. You'd have
there you go.
Be happy to see me.
Family and fans, the two best episodes.
Exactly.
Speaking of that, my husband went upstairs to talk to somebody, and I just heard him telling. I think he's talking on the phone. He was telling them that we're just talking to you because he's a Star Trek fan. So as soon as I told him your character, he instantly knew the episode and your character. Nice. My son did too, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's amazing that one episode. That role, that character was supposed to be a recurring character, and I screwed it up because the makeup takes like 3 hours to put on.
Oh my goodness!
And then 2 hours to put on to take off, and you've got this like just big foam head on, and I discovered that I was claustrophobic.
Oh no!
Actually, after about 12 hours, like the days on Deep Space Nine were easily 14-hour days. They just shot and shot and shot. And after about 10 hours, maybe it was, I literally lost my mind.
Oh, I
lost my mind, and they had to call my boyfriend at the time and bring him on set to hold my hand. So needless to say, they weren't going to have me back on that show. I was like, guys, I'm done for the day. Can we just wrap it up and come back tomorrow? Because I'm just going to go to my cabin and take all this makeup off. They're like, hold on a minute. Anyway, I wasn't a favorite of Deep Space Nine, although they did really like me, and I had a really good time on the show. But after that, they started putting in the casting notices, make sure that your clients don't have claustrophobia, because that makeup is
Well, you said you discovered it, so you did. It sounds like you didn't even know you had it till you got put.
You know, I didn't know. I mean, I had experienced claustrophobia. Like I don't like people holding my holding my shoulders down, things like that. But I thought, well, everybody doesn't like that. But no,
Yeah, that's like that makes
you
sense.
know, people say they're claustrophobic, but this was a real episode. This was, yeah. So I discovered it. Yeah, all good things happened. Good things
Right.
happened to that, right?
Yeah, because you just in that one episode, and like I said, my son's 17, and he instantly knew who you were.
That's
And then
fantastic.
my husband, he's like, I watch that episode all the time.
I know. I think people like that even more than any of the horror stuff I've done. Like, the Trekkies, they're a serious
Oh,
bunch.
yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's like I've seen the movies and some of the shows, but I never really got like hardcore into it. But I mean, it is good though. I might have to go back and watch them one of these days. But there's just
Exactly. When you're out of everything to watch, just go back and watch that.
I have too much to watch as it is. It's hard. There's
I know.
things. It's like
It's crazy.
Right. I'm not
What are you
super into
watching
it,
now?
but the guys are. So I usually, if I need information of it, I just ask the guy.
What are you guys watching now?
I'm real big into The Walking Dead, so I keep up with that. But
I got to catch back up on that. But I like The Good Doctor, 911. I've been watching. I finally caught up with the new Superman and Lois. Survivor's back on. Trying to think what other. I mean, there's so much I can't even think of everything right now that I watched. So
All day. I'm into Bridgerton right now. I have to say, season 2, Bridgerton. I know it's disgusting, but there you go. Before I go to bed, I like something ridiculous, and that's so good.
I seen it was trending on Netflix when I went on there the other day, but I don't know anything about it.
It's kind of like a soap opera set in the whatever. I don't know what the times were, Victorian times. I'm gonna make myself look stupid. I don't know what. Anyway, in the olden days, before I was born, even. So, what was I going to say to you? The Walking Dead. Do they have new episodes? Are they still shooting that?
Yeah, they're on the last season of the regular show, The Walking Dead, and then Fear of the Walking Dead, I believe, is coming back pretty soon. And then they have another spinoff called World Beyond, but that was only supposed to have, I think, 2 seasons. So I think that might be done.
It ended already.
Yeah, I heard they're going to be doing a spinoff too with Negan and
yeah, Negan and Maggie's going to have a spinoff, and
Carol
and Daryl's supposed to have a spinoff. So,
wow, how many seasons was Walking Dead?
They're on season 11, I believe, right now.
Yeah.
What luck!
Yeah, I've been watching since day one. So.
Jeez, how wonderful and scary at the same time.
That's okay. I don't have to wait the weeks in between. Once they're done, I'll just watch all the episodes cut up. Okay, I'm done. I don't have to be the anticipation each week. Like, come on, what's going to happen?
1 week of your life gone. It'll take a week. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I usually try to watch them because I'm following enough stuff that people post spoilers, so I have to be.
Yeah. You're like,
I have to be on it, or it gets spoiled, and I absolutely hate it.
No. And if people rave about something too much, I can't watch it. Like I cannot read reviews and stuff because people are like, "Oh, this is the most amazing thing." I'm like, "Oh, I can't watch it now," because I don't know why. It's a weird thing. It's like, don't tell me this is great before I've made my decision.
Doomsday says he owns 3 Negan resin statues still in the box. Nice.
Oh.
My uncle dressed up as Negan at our wedding.
Oh, really?
He cosplays as Negan.
Oh, that's funny. Were you all in cosplays?
No, just my uncle knew how big I was in the show, and we had it was a Star Wars / horror themed wedding. And my uncle knew how big I was into The Walking Dead, so he packed up his cosplay, and he was originally in like dress outfit, and then when we go to the reception, because we all had it in one area, I had a hard time finding a church to do what we wanted, so we had it in like the place we had the reception, we had the wedding, everything there. And after the wedding was done, my uncle went and changed, and he came out in his Negan cosplay.
Oh, that's so awesome.
And he also
You've got a
dresses up
fun
as a Winter
family.
Soldier.
Really? That's awesome. My family would never do that. My father would never do that. Oh, am I frozen? Uh-oh.
It's
Oh, there I
doing it
am.
once in a
Okay.
while.
It was like going slow, but yeah.
But yeah, he
Okay.
works for
But you know
he
what I
works
did?
in
I
the
just
Pentagon.
who does?
At least he used to work in the Pentagon. I haven't talked to him in a little while because he's so far away. But yeah, he works in the Pentagon. He's like a graphic artist or something in the Pentagon. And
Oh yeah.
so
A
yeah,
graphic
he does
artist.
that, and he goes to conventions and dresses up in cosplay. So anybody could cosplay.
Maybe there's like some secret like espionage thing going on at cosplay events and we just don't know about it. And he's there.
Never know. His wife, before she passed away, she was a Secret Service agent. So hey,
Really? Amazing. Now we're talking. Exciting stuff. Yeah.
I was gonna say for my bloody Valentine, I know you said you were just like taking any job, but was there any attraction to the script that drew you to it?
I was 16 years old. I was very undiscerning. But in retrospect, what draws me to that movie now, because I can appreciate it, is just the world that George created, that the director created. He created a seamless, wonderful world of friends in a small town. It feels cozy. You want to be one of the friends in that group,
Mhm.
And I love that about it, that the horror of it is part of the story. And I don't know, I just think it's really well set up and it's kind of cheesy, but I like the cheesiness of it. You know what I mean? I like it. It's comforting. It's a comforting horror movie, I think,
Perfect
And
holiday movie.
also, I have to say, Paul Kalman, who just died recently, bless his heart. As I get older, I can appreciate what a great job he did with the acting, creating a lot of conflict. And Neil did a good job too, but I thought out of all, I can't say that everybody had their part, but I really woke up to the fact that Paul Kalman did a great job as TJ. He was kind of a little James Dean about it. It was really good. I liked it. I'm a fan.
Yeah. So, spoiler alert, people, but I'm sure most people here have already seen it. For your death scene, did you like the way you went out, or were you surprised by that? Or
I'm trying to think. I was one of the first death scenes, so I knew that I didn't survive. But notoriously, we didn't see the last 10 pages of the movie until the very end. They didn't want anybody to know who the killer was. It was obviously not going to be me. It would have been a big surprise had it been me, mind you. They made a mistake. It should have been me. But they spent a lot of time on my death scene, and it was rigorous. And like I said, I wasn't aware of it as a horror movie. I was aware of it as a story. And so, yes, it was very challenging. People were making fun of me because, again, I was 16 and it was my second movie and I was taking things very, very seriously. And I was, trying to get really emotional and frightening myself. I wanted to be, silly. Hang on a minute. These are the little exciting things that happen when you've got a 10-pound dog. Where is a 100-pound dog? I mean, okay, there we go. Don't try to step on that again, Fred. Oh my God. So I can't remember what we were saying, but I just, that my death scene was a real challenge to do because I took it very seriously and I had to be as authentic as possible, and that was challenging. It was challenging to be that scared.
Yeah, I imagine, having to be able to either scream on cue or be afraid like that on cue. Yeah. It's just, I can imagine being able to do that.
Well, that's that. George and I had done a movie together previously called, oh, I'm going to date myself, Pinball Summer. A pinball's back though, so it's okay. Um, the original Pinball Summer, way back when. But even then, it was already old. But we had done that movie together, and so he already knew uh, enough about me, you know. And so my audition was screaming as loud as I could, because apparently not everybody can do it. But growing up in the household that I grew up in, where screaming was a daily occurrence, it was not that foreign to me. Screaming was a part of my life, and I was uninhibited. So, yeah. But, you know, they say that they do have to make sure that horror actors that are going to die know how to scream, because a lot of people are like, ah, like
Right, yeah, that's what I was about ready to say. You can't just go, ah, and then, like, oh,
like,
damn, I'm dead now.
You're like, ah.
yeah. So, yeah. I got a whole second world happening here of dogs wishing the other had the bone. I'm sorry if you hear little growls.
It's okay.
Ah.
I
I
know
wish
the Dead Zone, you had a super small part in that, but did the story attract you to that one as well?
Oh my God, working with David Cronenberg is what attracted me to that.
Oh, yeah, true.
And I was lucky for that one. I didn't actually audition. They just gave me the part, and I have no idea why. Well, I think they probably went by pictures, and I looked Polish. I look like a Polish Jew. I probably am a Polish Jew, or maybe a Russian Jew. I'm a Russian Jew, but you know, I look like I fit the part, and the casting directors knew me as an actor. I was doing a soap in New York at the time, and I got a call to come back and do this tiny little part in this movie, and I was really thrilled because it was David Cronenberg, and definitely a David Cronenberg fan, and it was worth it because that day is a memorable day. Like, I remember all my one-liners, actually. It's funny when you do one line in a movie, for some reason, it sticks in your head, and like, remember all my one lines. In this case, it was dash you, dash you. That's it. 2 words. But they had recreated Poland in wartime with like, wagons and peasants and running and screaming and fire everywhere. And it was so easy to do the work because it was as close to the real thing as I will ever get, hopefully.
Yeah.
We're not going to have war on our soil anytime soon, but anyway, yeah, so that was a really amazing experience. And also Christopher Walken was sitting in the chair next to me getting his makeup done. We did not say hello. He was very busy and focused on his work. But it was the thrill. I was in the same room as Christopher Walken. That was pretty exciting. I think it was also in Christopher Walken's very serious days. Now.
Yeah, that was about ready to say that too. It was before he started going a little crazy.
Yeah, he's just a wonderful, eccentric being now. But back then, he was a very serious actor. And also, I can't remember. I met my girlfriend Michelle Little on that shoot, but we didn't know we were going to be friends. She's an actress, and anyway, I met her, and then a couple of years later, I saw her in an audition, and we connected over that. So it was a fun movie.
That's usually the best friendships, when you don't know you're going to be friends in the start.
Right. Meet again, and you're like, oh, palsies. Yeah, I love her. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And he also had a big stint on Dr. Quinn. I know it's not horror, but on Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
People are going to be okay talking about it.
Oh, yeah, we talk about everything.
Nope, skip it. Not horror. No, go.
They could be mad at me for bringing it up, but no, we talk about everything. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That was an amazing part of my life. I remember I just finished the pilot, and we were waiting to see if it was going to go. I remember so many like quintessential moments about that. But one of the things I remember is my mother used to read tarot cards on the beach. That was her job. And some guy next to her, a tarot card reader next to her, I don't know what he was up to. He just decided to come up to me and give me his reading on me. And he said, I hear you're an actor. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, well, relax about it, because I see that you are not going to do well as an actor for a good 20 years. You're going to be a late bloomer. And I was so offended. I had just gotten this show, and it was the biggest thing I had ever gotten in my life before. And I thought to myself, what is he talking about? And then afterwards, in retrospect, I'm like, oh, well, Dr. Quinn it was not the pinnacle. You mean I'm still due my pinnacle moment? And guess what, folks? Time is a wasting. I'm waiting for that pinnacle moment, because it turns out that
in our eyes, you've had the pinnacle moments.
That's what I mean. I've had the pinnacle moments. Exactly. The pinnacle moments occurred already. Dr. Quinn was one of the pinnacle moments, you know what I mean? So it was an amazing series. Again, I think the producer, creator of the series, Beth Sullivan, you notice with certain filmmakers, and it's probably true with all filmmakers, they choose a certain kind of being, a being that appeals to them. And so I would say all the actors on that show were just lovely people, as was the producer. They're just lovely people, and friends from afar, and I miss them. I spent a lot of time with them, and I miss them. And I got married to the telegraph operator. I myself in life have never been married, but the character married the telegraph operator. And I say to people often, well, my brain doesn't know. Like, your brain doesn't know if it's a dream or it's true, right? So I had many different existences, and one of them was I was married to a very lovely man.
You experience everything in any genre. There you go. You get to live life through your character.
That's right. Yeah.
We've had Rebecca Reinhardt and Rob Mello on, and I know you've worked with them.
Yes.
How did you meet them? And I know Embalmers was your first project with them, and you'll be doing Tin Roof as well.
That's right.
How did that come across?
I make contact with people that are producing movies that I'm interested in. The Embalmer sounded like really interesting, and so I think I sent an email to Rebecca, and lucky for me, she responded and offered me a part in the Embalmers. I hope she doesn't regret it.
No, I don't think so.
But it was really fun, and again, I think Rebecca and Rob. I'm not sure if Rob was producing that one, but Rebecca was, and her sister. Gosh, love her sister. Always forget her name. What is her name? Diane Fraker. Diane. Rebecca and Diane were producing and co-directing, and I was in from out of town, and we were all staying at their house, at the house that we were shooting at, and we'd have so much fun after shooting and during shooting, and everybody was. I do like a thing about independent film that is different about movies with really, really high budgets. I really love the idea of everybody contributing and helping out where they can. And it really creates a wonderful family atmosphere. We're all involved in this project, trying to make it the best that it can be. And they definitely create that atmosphere. They choose people that are all willing to be helpful, willing to be there, willing to be present. No babies, no complainers, no, everybody is grateful. And I love that. I'm grateful to be participating in a movie that has that attitude, and they're great people. So yeah, and talented.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they are great.
So anybody watching who's listening, also they do have their Facebook group up for Tin Roof, and I believe they're still doing their Indiegogo that you can get some perks on that. So be sure to check that out.
I told Rebecca that one of the perks could be that you get to marry me.
Priceless. I don't think anyone would be able to afford that, but okay.
I haven't put a price on it because I was discussing it with Rebecca, and she said, no, we're not going to do that. I'm a little disappointed because I am looking for a husband, but it's not going to happen on this movie. Apparently.
Maybe the next one.
Maybe the next one. I'm always going to offer it up as a potential money-making scheme for the production till the day that I can no longer do that. But,
And
So, like, play a husband in the role or an actual husband? Just out of curiosity.
depends on how much.
Okay.
Depends on what you offer. What do you pay me? What do you
Doomsday was saying that he better start saving. Rob did want me to mention, I guess
I knew it.
there is some Keanu story or something. Keanu?
Well, which Keanu story does he want me to tell you? Okay,
I don't know. He just said bring up Keanu.
Let me prep. I was thinking about this all day. I'm like, oh my God. You're gonna ask me about Keanu because Rob warned me that you would. Then he said, don't tell him. And so I've like totally screwed it up already. But I was trying to do the math. And the thing is although it feels very present, Keanu and I met in our early 20s. And guys, that was a really long time ago. I mean, longer than I care to admit. But Keanu's in his late 50s now, probably 57, right?
I think so.
So we probably have not spoken to. I think I met him when I was 24 and he was 22. So let's do the math, shall we? 22, 32, 42, 52, 35 years ago. Keanu and I used to hang out. That is older than most of the people that are listening to this podcast. Most of them weren't born before. But I say that because, I knew him very well at a certain point in his life. And I can tell the things that I remember about Keanu is that he was really the lovely human being that everybody is discovering that he is now. For some reason, like there's all this publicity about what a great guy he is and what a down to earth guy. And well, he was always that guy. And really dedicated actor. We were both in the habit of working really hard on our lines and our characters and whatever. And I think we shared that a lot. I dated him I think I dated him for 3 weeks. And then he said to me, I don't want to date you anymore. I'm like, oh, okay then. And like I had as I was prone to doing in those days, like a 48-hour of like, okay, fine, not talking. But we had so many friends in common. And I just not like that. I'm a person that heals very quickly. I was in my 20s. Of course, I heal quickly. And I was just like, well, life goes on, whatever. And it was actually after dating him that we became really good friends and partners and pals and whatever. And we used to hang out and do all sorts of fun stuff together. He was always just a really nice guy. I have no specific thing except that, and he may deny this now, but I taught him to play the bass.
Oh, nice.
Uh-huh.
So you helped him out in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey for his musical career, right?
I guess. Oh, here's another thing that I'm really horrified about. But I was very conscious of not wanting to hang out with people because they were famous. And so that would create an anti-fame thing, if you will, right? Which is, now I'm older, I realize it's the same as a fear of hanging. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, I'm not going to deal with the fact that you're famous. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. You are just a person to me. But, I would go so far as to never see a Keanu movie. So I did not see Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And I did not see a lot of his movies because I never wanted to be starstruck. But now I think about that and I think, well, then you were starstruck, right? Because you're pretending, right? So it was like, it worked in reverse, actually. So I totally screwed myself there also. But I met him just before River's Edge came out. And River's Edge was an amazing movie, I thought, and he did an incredible job in River's Edge. Um, so yeah, that was the Keanu. That was the actor that I thought, like, that was the being that I thought of him as the guy in Keanu in River's Edge more than Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and stuff. But I certainly knew him during that time. In fact, okay, so here's a Keanu story. He got offered the part in The Fly 2, and because he was such a method actor, you know, he was asking me and other friends like what I thought about, you know, The Fly 2, should he do it? And Jeff Goldblum had just done The Fly, and it was like a great movie, but I just thought, oh my God, Keanu, you know, eating donuts and crouching like a fly. Like, that's what he would do. He was that method. And we're like, I just thought, you know what, you're going to be offered so many parts in your life. This is probably a part you should turn down, you know? And it's funny because Bill and Ted, like, Keanu didn't talk like Bill and Ted.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
It took him a long time to shed the Bill and Ted. After he did those movies, it took him a long time to shed it, you know, just because he absorbed, it seems to me, you know, talking like a person that knows him. I knew him 35 years ago. Let's keep prefacing that. He absorbed stuff at that time, really internally. And I was worried that he would not shake it off. So he turned down The Fly 2. Maybe not.
It obviously was for the best.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe not a bad thing.
Yeah, true.
That would have been weird to see him
Like
in
he's
that.
walking around like a little insect. He might not be so popular now. So you should thank me, really.
Instead of the sad Keanu memes with him sitting on the bench, like all bent over, you just see him like going down the street, all
Like a little fly.
or people would be putting fly eyes on him or something.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a good thing I led him in the right direction, and look at him now. No.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right. Yeah, Rob brought it up. I was like, okay, I'll see where this leads. But
Yeah. I know. Well, at the time it was very real, but it was 35 years ago, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like somebody that really would change much.
No, I was going to say he's just more of who he is now.
Yeah.
I think he's more confidently who he is now. You know, no, he was always confident. He was always like, he was the first guy to wear a skirt, you know, and it wasn't like it wasn't a kilt. It was a way thing. Like, he liked to wear skirts. He didn't like to wear them because he's like, you know, trying to express something about his sexuality. He just liked the look, you know. He
was just airing himself out.
Yeah, exactly. He used to wear skirts with, oh, I do have a story. He used to wear skirts with work boots, you know, with whatever, hiking boots or whatever you call them, construction boots actually at the time. There is a story. And the story is that we used to get in his car. It was an old beater car. I can't remember what it was. And I still have this habit, I have to admit. But he would like have food and whatever, and then we would just throw the wrappers on the ground, and we would stomp them into the ground. And so like we'd get into his car, and the wrappers would like, you know, they were like, you know, like a foot full of wrappers like stuck to the ground. It was an old beater car. We were just having fun and didn't bother to clean it that way, you know. And that was a habit we had of just wrappers on the ground building. And I remember after it had a lot of success, rolling around to get him in. What I was very proud of, it was a 1961 lime green Bel Air, and it was a beautiful car, I thought. And it had some crap on the bottom of the floor. It's true. I had continued that little habit we had on my own. I didn't need him to do that. I just threw it in the passenger side and waited for the next passenger to stomp it down. And he got into my car, and I remember it you know, I remember being very hurt. And he said to me, "Geez, I hope that you can get a new car. It'd be nice if you could get a new car." You know, oh gosh, it's brings tears to my eyes now. I was so hurt because I remembered like really fondly hanging out in his old beater, and I figured, and I bet you now he would have an old beater. He probably has an old beater, but he was maybe just at that point where he was making a lot of money. And I don't know why he said that day, but like that stung, and it stings even now. I'm not inviting him to my house because I still like throw things on the floor and just stamp them down to say that they're
Aaron, he goes, damn, Bel Air, beautiful car.
Yeah, it didn't say right, a beautiful car, lime green, okay, like it was special. And I was so surprised that Keanu did not appreciate the car, but no, he had a moment of an unexpected moment. I did not expect that from him, and I bet you now he would be very different about it. He'd be very appreciative of my lime green Bel Air if I still have it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It said in I think it was the trivia part of your IMDb, if I remember correctly, that you went to clown school. Was that before you started acting?
I'm sorry.
You're still in? I'm sorry. Did you start that before you started acting, or?
No, I didn't. In fact, I hated clowns. I hated horror movies and clowns. What's happened to me?
And yet you were in Amityville Clown House.
Oh my God. Yes, that's true.
But anyway, go ahead. Yes.
I have been in a Dustin Ferguson movie. It's true. I'm so derailed now. Get back to clown school, real clown school. When I started losing money with residuals, I went back to my original job, which was when I first got here. I was a children's entertainer at birthday parties, and the woman I worked for was like 5'10" or something. She's a very large woman, and she needed extra help because she was doing really well with her business. And she hired me, and I'm 5'2". She didn't bother to change the clothes. So I would walk into a Cinderella party swimming in this woman's like huge dresses that didn't fit me at all. It was the most miserable experience of my life. I hated it. But when I finished, when my residuals on Dr. Quinn were running low and I was starting to like really need money, I thought, my God, what can I do? I don't even know how to type. I just really honestly never learned to type because I was afraid I'd fall back on it, and I didn't want to fall back on anything. So I screwed myself. I thought the only thing I know how is to be a children's entertainer. So I went and worked for this company, and they had the most annoying habit of waking you up in the morning going, "Are you up? Because you got shows today." And like after a couple of months of like hearing that phone ring, "Are you up?" "No, I'm an idiot. I'm not getting up. I'm going to screw everything. I'm not going to show up at the party." Like, after 2 months of it, I thought, no, okay, I cannot hear that phone ring one more time. "Are you up?" So I thought I could do this by myself. I don't need anybody. I'm going to send myself out as a clown. So sure enough, I did. And make long story short, I built this entertainment company, but it would, and we dress as clowns and stuff, but we're not really clowns, And after a while I thought, oh, maybe I can juggle and I can't juggle. And maybe I can unicycle ride and I can't unicycle ride. What can I do? I do still walk. At least that's one clowny thing that I do. But I thought, it's time that I learn what a real clown does. And I started taking classes, and, it's addictive. And I've been in clown classes, learning how to be a clown for 10 years now. I'm over it. I finally realized that I'm not that kind of funny. I'm not a funny person, really. So it's one of those unobtainable things. I keep taking the classes and keep not doing a great job with it. I'm just not an innately funny person. And I attribute that to the seriousness of my parents. My father grew up in World War II. He was transferred to Canada at the age of 12. And, my mother came from a very, very serious political Israeli politicians, and they were always thinking very seriously. There was no room for laughter in our house. I did not grow up with laughter. Laughter was not appreciated, nor was it laughter was kind of frowned upon in our house. Like there would be no laughing. We would be doing Shakespeare, and we would be, doing all the serious plays, but we would not be doing the comedies. So I think the reality is that It's not in my bones being funny. So yeah, I've been to clown school. I dress as a clown, but ask any clown person that knows me, and they will tell you that I am the least funny person they know. So, that is my shame. I carry it. I carry it like Jesus carried the cross. Oh gosh, did I offend people?
No. I mean, if you did, who cares?
You must not have heard Rob's joke then, because if you're
What was Rob's joke?
Oh God, I forgot about that.
What's Rob's joke?
Well, it's kind of, you have to see it. It's more like a physical joke, and my arms are probably going to disappear. But he acted like he was on the cross, and he goes,
I'll demonstrate. He was doing something like that, and then he like fell forward.
And he goes,
I see you three. Are there other people involved in this thing?
Mm-hmm.
I can only see you three. Who did that?
Oh no, not on this show. No, on the show with Rob and Rebecca. That was
Rob Mello.
Yeah, yeah, he did a joke, and he was saying, "What Jesus say?" Like he started falling across. He's like, "Defeat."
That's so funny.
It was funnier when he did it, but yeah,
right. Yeah, it was funnier when he did it.
Both of us mentioned Jesus. What are the chances? I guess Jesus is a popular topic. I don't know. We refer to him a lot, like Jesus.
It's like if someone like takes the name of it, like if they go Jesus Christ, and then just like the Lord,
right, the Lord. Whoops, I'm still going to heaven. Yeah. So anyway.
I'll have to send you that clip or whatever later.
Yeah,
you want to see it.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. All sorts of crazy radical. They are very funny, actually. They're very funny people.
We also had this video. It was funny because the first time we were going to do an interview with them, there was like really bad feedback and repeating and everything, and Rob was going titties, and it was echoing. So we put a music video together with like our past guests and future guests, and it was going titties.
Yeah, because I do all the thumbnail art, and I put as many thumbnails like together, and then I cut a song with the titties.
That's amazing.
So, but yeah, I'll try to clip out his joke earlier. That way you don't have to send her the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna send that. Yeah, I won't send the whole video.
So yeah, I'll clip out
that is super funny though. That is the kind of thing I would not think of doing, but I can totally appreciate it.
Yeah. So yeah, I made a titty song.
Love it.
It turned out pretty good too. It was funny. Good little promo out there.
That's fantastic. That's the kind of stuff I wish that I thought of, but I don't. I just, my brain gets right to the serious stuff. I just cannot manifest a funny like thing like that. So good for you.
Yeah, we have random things. We have like the nipple bot robots and yeah.
There's just so much randomness on the show. Yeah, anything goes.
Yeah, and when we get like extremely random, I think the part's like funny. I'll like clip it out and I'll make it like a little clip and I put it on my channel.
That's awesome. I love that.
And we didn't even have to go to clown school.
Like the horror movies do require a sense of humor, you know.
Yeah.
In terms of like you know, the stories and whatever, like but again, you see, I don't have to participate in that because the key to being funny is not being funny, is not, you know what I mean? Not trying to be funny, but just, you know, in a well-written script, you just say the words and then it is funny, or the director figures it out, you know?
Right.
So it's off my shoulders.
Speaking of directors, there was a question. What was it like working with Dustin?
Oh, I plead the fifth on that one. No,
I don't blame
you. Look, Dustin is a lovely, lovely guy, and he's a very ambitious guy. And my roommate Ronnie is a very, very good friend of his, and they work together a lot. And Ronnie is a fantastic human being. So, by second degree, so is Dustin. You know, has to be, because Ronnie is such a superhuman, wonderful, lovely guy. Ronnie Angel. Do a video for that. On that particular shoot was not a fun experience, and I'm going to expose Dustin on this one. He's just going to have a sense of humor about it. But they brought me in to do this the clown bill or whatever, and on the day of my big scene, Dustin had to go close the video store. So he handed the torch to this girl that just showed up randomly who was a friend of his. So I cannot tell you much about Dustin as a director because, in fact, he did not direct me in that movie. Somebody else did. And it was quite a shocking experience because, suddenly, but, here's the other thing, and like power to him, credit to him, like he's running a video store and shooting a movie at the same time. And that can't be easy. And
No.
it's, it's indie time and you just have to have a sense of humor and, let it go. But I don't know how Dustin is as a director because I haven't really worked with him.
Well, since he works at a video store, they just need to do
What?
the video clown house next time and just shoot at the video store. That way you can just stay the whole day and film there. That would be a possibility.
Oh yeah, I did work with him on that video on the video store part. Yeah, I mean it was lovely.
Oh,
but
I don't even remember. I was just
I did. He didn't direct me in the big scene because somebody else did. And I can't even remember what her name or anything. So.
Have you had a favorite role that you have? I know it's hard to pick through everything, but
well,
I don't know.
I would always say Myra on Dr. Quinn because I got to spend five seasons with this great character, and I really, really loved that character. And I thought I really so grateful to have been able to play a character like that. So she was definitely a favorite character of mine, but that was long ago now. And trying to think. I love playing the character I played in The Embalmers. She was wicked and a little over the top. And I do enjoy playing over the top characters, maybe a little too much. I don't know.
I think a lot of people do. I think Rebecca said that too, and that they, they're playing like the evil or wicked characters. They're more fun.
Like wicked characters. I do. I really do like playing wicked characters. It's really. I don't think I can play a normal character. Like I was never the girl next door. I could never pull that off sincerely. Never. No, I've always played sort of the edgier characters, and I really do enjoy that. But yeah, I think I don't give nice characters enough credit. I'm like, how do you act nice? No, it's not innate. I don't know how to act nice. So that tells you a little bit about me. No, actually, I do believe that the nicest people can be the meanest characters because we can have fun with it, not take it seriously. We don't feel exposed or anything. We're like, oh, I actually get to be mean. How fun.
It's your outlet.
Get walked over all the time. But,
Charles Cochran asks, how was working with Troy? I'm going to butcher that last name on Mrs. Claus.
Troy Escamilla is a truly talented guy. And he should be getting big budgets because he can handle them. He's organized. His scripts are solid. The work is solid. He chooses great actors. He's got a good sense of what acting should be. He's a great director. I'm always amazed with the quality of the material that he puts out, given his budget. It always looks like $1 million to me. He's a lovely human being. So. I love Troy Escamilla. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, we enjoyed Mrs. Claus.
Yeah. What about Mrs. Claus?
I said we enjoyed it. Me and Steven enjoyed it. And people in our chat did as well.
And he's done so many other movies that are all worth seeing. Really good. Yeah.
So speaking of like crazy roles, how was it in Katie Bird when you got
oh my gosh. That's so funny that you bring that up. So Crazy Bird was a crazy experience all the way around. Like seriously, I was dating a fella who shall remain nameless. That was not a nice person at the time, and I was a little nuts because of it. I was in a really, really not a good situation, and so it was very fitting that I ended up on this movie. It was just a crazy time in my life, and that was a crazy movie to shoot. But I feel like the director really talented guy, really, really talented. At the time had ideas that were inventive, an extremely inventive director. I had never seen that split screen kind of thing. The movie's got split screens, doesn't it?
Yeah, because I was watching that. I'm like, at first I thought something was wrong, and then I realized, oh no, that's the technique that they're doing. Yeah,
That's right. That's right. And you're always taking a chance with somebody that's a bit of a genius. And frankly, it could work, it could not work, right? But they're out there and they're taking these chances. He's a visionary. He's definitely a visionary. Again, that was one of the movies where the gore was really gory.
yeah.
The script was really intense.
Mhm.
I took it very seriously. So it was not a lot of fun to shoot it. To be honest, it wasn't, because it was an emotional challenge on a daily basis. And the director was an intense human being. I mean, he wrote that script. He had that vision that came out of his head. But Wes Craven, I met him, and he was one of the just loveliest, easygoing people around. Somehow he could separate himself from the work. I don't think that you have to. I think some evil geniuses have to be the evil genius that they are. And I think that director, I can't remember his name right now. Justin. Oh, it's going to kill me. Justin. Anyway, we were on a first name basis. I can't remember. But I think he's an evil genius. I think he's really a talented guy. I don't know what's happened to him since, but yeah, that was a crazy, hard movie to work on. And I was not a nice person in the movie. So, I was
Justin Paul Ritter.
Justin Paul Ritter. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was certainly allowed myself to be that character. Yeah. It was a scary experience.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's definitely brutal, and you pulled it off for sure.
Brutal.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, not to spoil too much of it, but basically psychotic. You grew up a serial killer in the family. Your dad sort of taught you the ways, and your experiences with men and why you don't like men. So it's one of those revenge movies there, I guess.
I've changed my feelings about men. Okay. I love them. I want to marry one.
If my husband was downstairs, I would say. So if he was downstairs, like today's his birthday, I say you could be married for him for a little bit, but he's upstairs, so I can't.
Wait, it's your husband's birthday?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, he's tolerant.
He's upstairs talking to his family on the phone because we don't live anywhere near our family, so he's upstairs talking to everybody, wishing them happy birthdays.
Yeah.
But now we prepped dinner and got it set. I made his cake earlier, so we're all set.
Okay.
Was that banana cake or something you were telling me about?
We found banana cake mix, so we got a banana cake and I put chocolate icing on it.
Oh, that sounds delicious. Love it.
I've never seen banana cake mix before.
Yeah. Well, hope it's good.
Yeah, we'll find out in a couple hours.
That's right.
It's like, since you've done different types of movies and genres, when it comes to effects, are you more partial to practical effects or computerized, or special? What do you prefer?
Well, in a lot of ways, practical effects are easier for an actor to work with because we see them on the set, and we don't really know with computerized effects how they're going to be, and sometimes they're not that good. I'm a fan of practical effects for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And there's there's some great Joe Castro. There's some great effects people around. But oh God, terrible practical effects can ruin a movie, as you all know. So
yeah, that's true too. Yeah,
bad digital effects can ruin a movie too. I'm trying to think.
Usually a happy merge between the two
Right.
is usually good, especially now. I prefer practical, but a lot of times you can't do everything with practical, so it's usually a happy merge.
Yeah.
The thing that I don't like with practical, we have still, it doesn't matter how much money you have, aging an actor is still really dicey. I never buy it. Like Robert De Niro in that movie where he played.
I was going to bring that up. I've never seen it, but I've seen a lot of people making fun of it.
Yeah, because it like I cannot think of a movie where it works
I
out.
think it was, yeah, I think that one was called what, The Irishman?
Yes.
Maybe.
Oh God, it took me out of the movie. I couldn't enjoy the movie because I didn't believe any portion of it. You know, it was weird.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I don't know what it's like, but I've just seen people like making fun of how he looks.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Two people
if
is
he looks
really
that bad, do I really want to watch it?
yeah, and I think he won an award for it, but I think it was just a sympathy thing. I'm like, uh-oh. I hope Robert De Niro never sees this podcast.
He's coming on next week, so
Tell him about my Jesus thing.
all right.
Distract him.
Yeah.
We'll clip that along with Rob and put it together and send it.
There we go. The Jesus
about how bad his special effects looked in the Irishman. Yeah. But that's the only thing with practical effects. I think aging, but I think gore is really, really great. I think if you do a good job with gore, it's really, really great. And there's a movie that Deadly Dealings. The special effects guy, I can't remember his name, young guy, but I'm really happy with the special effects he did. He created monsters and really beautiful monsters. And it's amazing what can be done. Like it's a real art. And gosh, too bad I don't know his name. But anyway, watch that movie, Deadly Dealings, when it comes out, and you'll see some really beautiful practical effects. Yeah.
Awesome. We'll have to look forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's also, I wanted to ask you, I saw that there's going to be a Last American Horror Show Volume 2. Is that out yet, or it's coming out? It says 2020.
I don't know. I keep seeing, I myself am wondering.
Okay, because I see your character's name is Joe.
I don't know if it's out yet. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I was having trouble tracking it down, so I'm like, maybe it's not out. So, but
also another great director. Yeah. So enjoyed working with him.
I'm a rewind. I'm a big anthology person, so I enjoy like those anthology type movies and everything.
Right.
And the first one was good, and I believe I think Felissa Rose was in the first one too, the Last American Horror Stories.
He talks about Felissa Rose, and I always just miss her somehow. Like we're never in the same movie, but she was in the last movie with the. Well, she must work a lot because she's like everything.
Yeah. Oh, she's all over. She does so many movies and travels for conventions and screens and. Yeah, she's just all over. So yeah, I'm probably going to see her in May.
One day I'll meet her.
Yeah, she's doing a convention in Ocala called Spookala, so I'm probably going to be with her there while she's working.
Nice. She's a friend of yours?
Yeah, I mean, not like best friends. I mean, we're good acquaintances. I guess you could say acquaintances. I see her at conventions. I've hung out with her and Kane Hodder and at Days of the Dead. It was funny because Kane Hodder actually introduced me to Felissa. So yeah, the night before the convention, and we were up to like 3-4 in the morning and stuff. So it was fun. So good times. And Tony Todd, and so that was probably the best convention experience, hanging out with.
Neat.
So
yeah. I get the party backstage with all those people. I would die.
Oh my god, it was so much fun. And like I even have a picture of me and Felissa. We're coming out of the hotel like 3 in the morning. We're just goofing off. I mean, she's a great person. I mean, fun to hang out with. I mean, so she's really appreciative people and just that energy, the type that you like to be around. Just all around good person. So
that's nice.
So yeah. Got any
typical
other
horror family person
one day, huh?
So typical horror movie person.
Yeah, we all get along. Nice, we all get along. It's the horror movie aura. We all have it.
Yeah,
exactly. Nice people. Yeah, totally. I get it.
But yeah, like I said, I'll talk to Petey. We'll maybe get you to Orlando.
I don't know why I'm not on the circuit, but I don't know.
So and since you haven't been, I'm sure he wouldn't mind having you as a guest.
Exactly. So. Yeah, I've definitely. All my friend Barbara Crampton and Kelly Maroney are constantly put Betsy Russell, Judy Aronson. Those are the people that I know that are all on.
Yeah, I've met pretty much all of them there too. Yeah, so all great people.
Yeah. Well, what they have in common is being gorgeous. And
don't count yourself out now. You're
no, but when I was younger, gorgeous was not my thing. When I was younger, like the characters that I'm famous for are not gorgeous. Do you know what I mean? I'm a more character actor. So I think like the draw, the beautiful women do draw do draw an audience in, and I'm not known for my good looks. I'm known for, you know, my character work. You know what I mean? So I think I'm not the person you think of when you're going to start a convention, because people are like, oh my God, Len Udy, she's gorgeous, I have to go to. But you know, they'll say that about Judy Aronson or Kelly Maroney or Barbara Crampton or Felissa Rose or Deborah Lamb, or who are the other ones? Yeah, all those gorgeous ladies, the Vamps.
The Vamps. Any other questions, Boom, you got there?
Also says that you're acrobat and you have with silks and hand balancing. I think I have a typo in here, so I'm trying to figure out what I was writing.
Yeah, hand balancing. Yeah, I have a fascination with like athletics like that. The story behind that stuff is that I was taking martial arts classes, and boasting a little bit, I was pretty good at martial arts because I'm speedy. I'm like Speedy Gonzalez, you know that cartoon?
Yeah.
Tiny and I'm speedy, and you might not even feel it when I hit you, but I'm like bam, 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 bam. So I was apparently really pretty good at martial arts, and I enjoyed it until when you pass your belt, you actually have to be in battle with somebody and you have to hit them. Mm-hmm. And after getting that belt, I think it was an orange belt, you know, I thought, I don't want to hit people. That's so weird. Like, why would I train to hit people? You know, it just suddenly occurred to me that martial arts is about hitting people. Somehow I had avoided ever letting that enter my mind for the first two belts. But on the third belt, it's unavoidable. You're going to be hitting somebody. So, and usually in the head, that's what you're aiming for. So, I thought, no, I've got to find, you know, because to me it was artistic expression. I thought, no, this is not artistic expression. This is violence, and I got to find something else to do. And so I found silks and hand balancing more or less at the same time. And with both of them, I absolutely adore them. And you wouldn't even know it because there's videos of me doing, and also I'm a stilt walker, go figure. But I have a massive fear of heights.
Oh no.
And so with hand balancing, I can't, although I can do the move, I can't get above someone's head without actually experiencing like vertigo. And with silks, I just remember I'm like, oh, I'm never going to be a pro at silks, because I'd get up to the top of the silks, which I'd often do. You have to get to the top and then you have to let go. And I would stand there and not even know I was frozen until I'd hear my silks teacher go, let go. Like, I apparently been up there like frozen, like I don't know, minutes before, you know, people were like, time's a wasting. You do have to let go at some point, you know, doing a tumble down or whatever. And I'd always do it. And I thought it was gonna cure my vertigo, but I never actually lost the vertigo. And it's a weird thing. It's because in a movie called Night Flyers, I was training to fly out of the spaceship. And in order to do that, you had to fall 20 feet into an airbag. So I went for training at a stunt school for that and really loved it, and was really excited about doing the stunt. And then we got on the set and they couldn't rig it at 20 feet. They could only rig it at 40 feet because it was between two buildings and it had to be on the top of the roof and blah, blah, blah. Whatever it was twice what I thought I was going to do.
Oh my God.
And 20 feet and 40 feet, falling from 20 feet, falling from 40 feet. I have to tell you, there is a difference.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, there is a difference. And so I was young, and I already mentioned the movie. I was going to say without shaming the director, but I was young, and you know, there was a lot of pressure to do this stunt that I was not really skilled to do. And so the first time I did it, I did drop from 40 feet, but I have a background in ballet. And apparently I sort of fell like a ballerina, like very gracefully. And they were very disappointed, and they made me go do it again. They said, please look like you're falling. And I was like, oh my God, I got to look like I'm falling. Like I was actually trying to control my fall because I was so terrified. And the second time,
to fall for real then now.
is that I did, because I didn't halfway up the ladder, like you got to climb a 40-foot ladder before you do the fall. Like there's that on top of it, right? Climbing up 40 feet, knowing that you're supposed to let go at the end. And I lost all my adrenaline. I had spent it in the first thing. Like it was adrenaline that got me up and got me down. And then halfway through, I was like, oh my God. And I barely made, like, I felt like my hands were butter. Like they were not, like they were just not holding on. Like, what's wrong with me? My hands are butter. And so like I got up to probably about 38 feet and I said, I'm gonna fall, start shooting. Roll the camera, I'm gonna fall. And literally I just fell into this bag. And I remember hearing my neck crack. Ooh. And I thought, oh my God, I did. I had fallen like head first and my body had kind of gone up in a V and it cracked my neck. I gave myself a good neck crack. Fortunately, I lived through the experience and apparently it was just like chiropractic. Like I thought I was dead, but it was in fact just a good free chiropractor.
Oh, I bet that was scary. I can imagine that.
So then years later, I was on a Ferris wheel and we got to the top of the Ferris wheel and I had the sensation that I was being sucked off the Ferris wheel. And it was such a real experience. I was so terrified. I had to have my friends, they pulled their belts off and they wrapped them around my stomach and then tied them to the wheel that you have at the center where you can turn things around so that my brain could see that I was not moving because I felt like I was moving. And what I discovered is that I got vertigo. Like it's not just I have vertigo. It's like, no, I have vertigo. It's a real thing. And it will paralyze me. And I thought that that doing silks and that it's probably taken the edge off. And in fact, I'm going to get back to it. I'm actually going to take another silks class pretty shortly. And although I do it, I realized I'd never be a pro at it because, you can't be in the middle of a Britney Spears show and stop going, let go. You might get hired once, but fool me twice. And you know what I mean? So.
Well, I guess it's good. It's hard to get over phobias. So I guess it's good to kind of work on that as best you can, but still try to do something that you're interested in.
I was say though, like my sister does pole dancing. Like that's her favorite thing. And she's like, oh, you're going to love it. You got to, and she has a pole up in her bedroom and everything. And she's like, show me that you're going to do it right away. Cause you're just so good and blah, blah, blah. She's very sweet. And I got on that pole and it's like literally 2 inches off the ground and I had not taken any Dramamine and I got vertigo just on a stripper pole. So not a stripper pole, but
yeah. They have them for exercises. So I get.
So anyway, so it's just a thing. It's very disappointing because I don't like to be limited and it's very hard to understand when you actually have a phobia and it's actually getting in the way of your life. And I'm determined to get over it and continue to do crazy things like silks and that kind of thing. But it is difficult for me to do those things. But yeah, I do them. Yeah.
That's good.
That was a long answer.
It's okay. We don't mind. Apparently we have Steven's mom's in chat and says he has a black belt in Taekwondo. I was like, really interesting.
Yeah, I did it till I was 9, a little bit, either 10 or 11. And
really?
Yep. I haven't done it in years, but yeah, I was.
Well, it's probably still there at the back. You know what I mean? If you get challenged, it'll come back pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm convinced it will.
It's kind of funny when I was in kindergarten, I always forget, I wouldn't fight people or do anything or try to cause fights or anything. But I remember when I was a kindergartner, there was, I think maybe, I don't know if it went up to the 5th grade there, maybe or 4th that I don't remember, but it was the oldest kid in grade, whatever. And we were in line getting on the bus and he just shoved me shoved me away. I'm like, don't you push me again. And he pushed me. He's like, oh, what's a little kindergartner going to do? And I was like, you better stop or you're going to regret it. And he's laughing. And that after 3 or 4 times, I actually punched him in the face and he started crying and went to the assistant principal. And she was like, She goes, "It's your own fault. You shouldn't be picking on younger kids." She was actually on my side, and I'm like,
Right.
I mean, I warned him, I mean,
That's all you could do is warn somebody, especially.
he was like compared to me, like
He is
like,
probably, you cured him of his bullyism. He should thank you now.
so yeah, exactly.
Changed his life for the better.
He learned his lesson.
Right. Don't
Especially if
underestimate.
a little kindergarten could kick his ass.
But I'll never forget. He was like shoving me hard for like no reason. I was just standing there, and he just wants to. I don't know what it was. Like that is something that like stuck with me. And then, and then, my instructor. I went to YK Kim's, and him and Vincent Hirsch. They actually did a movie, Miami Connection, with like ninjas. I don't know if you've ever heard of that movie or not, but they were in that movie. And then after he left, this guy who had there, he was horrible, and he became a teacher, and his kid was kind of a brat. I hate to say that, but like they didn't really belong, and he thought he was like all that. There was one point at a competition where he wanted more bricks to break. He couldn't even break them all. And his kid, when we were sparring, like, I just do as practicing training. I'm not trying to hurt anyone. Like you said, you got to fight people. We have our mouth guards and our gloves and everything, helmet. And he decided just to punch me in the side of the head really hard. And I wasn't trying to do that. I'm like, dude, we're just, practicing.
Right. You're just supposed to tip. Right.
And when he did that, I went up. I was like, okay, that's what you're going to do. I kicked him in the side of the helmet so hard and like pushed it over a little bit. And he like fell down. And his dad almost like started to run over and push me back. And like, why you push a kid when you're? And my dad went right out there. He's like, what that? He's like, don't you touch my kid. He started that, and he even backed off from my dad. It's like, okay, you're gonna act like this. You don't deserve to be an instructor at all. You're not
right.
You're not a good role model if you're gonna
You're not very. In fact, I remember when I got my orange belt, they put me up against somebody who was, everybody's bigger than me. Let's be honest, everybody's bigger than me. And I was being speedy. I was just tipping her on the side with. I was kicking her on the side of the head pretty consistently. And they, it was a competition and somebody was going to win. Like, how many hits do you have?
Yeah.
And I won. And the instructor, her instructor was furious. Like something wrong had happened. Like this was not supposed to happen. Like they were grooming her for something, and I totally screwed it up. So, yeah, I thought, that world is not a good way. I mean, unfortunately,
like what they think it is. Cobra Kai, strike first, no mercy.
Oh my gosh, I have to put my glasses on so I can see.
But
that's funny.
Strike first, yeah.
Isn't that funny? I love the way. Like I had no idea you were wearing that T-shirt. Here we are talking about martial arts. It's bizarre. I love the serendipity of things. I like the word serendipity. I like what it means.
So serendipity.
Serendipity do. Yeah. So.
But yeah, good time. So, but like I was saying, if you're teaching kids that, you need to be more of a role model and self-control, because that's the point. It's more self-defense than anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I took Jeet Kune Do. I love the whole Bruce Lee thing. I like his philosophy. I like the whole thing about walk away. You try to walk away before you hit. Well, I guess that's common with everything. But yeah, the instructors that I had finally, they were like that, like the McDonald's of, what was it? Was it Taekwondo or was it Kung Fu? I can't remember. I have 3 orange belts, so I can't remember which one it was, but they were kind of like army sergeants. Like they were not at all. There was no finesse. There was no spirituality with it. It's like, no, these guys are just like, knuckleheads. Really, they were a bunch of knuckleheads.
Like Cobra Kai, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much Cobra Kai. Exactly. No finesse. No Mr. Miyagi. Yeah.
True karate come from inside.
Yes, exactly. That's what attracted me to it, right? This sort of that essential idea of it. My mother wanted me to like do qigong and whatever. I'm like, that's not active enough for me. I don't meditate. I'm hyper.
Is that real slow moving exercise? Whatever.
Yeah, and Tai Chi, that doesn't attract me because I have too much energy, so it's really stressful to slow down. It's like, anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I don't do anything like that. I never got it. I did try to get my son into it, but he wasn't interested enough to go to the class. So
No, yeah, yeah. Well, it's interesting. Like, as a kid, there are things you're not interested. I wasn't interested in violin by the time I hit 12. So too bad though. I wish I could continued.
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
probably still pick it up. Well, if you
Well,
did you
that's the
start?
thing. I've started on violin lessons again, which is why I say to you, I'm pretty sure your martial arts would kick in again because it's amazing what your body
Kick in, no pun intended, right? Kick in.
That's funny.
See, you don't need clown school. There you go.
Well, I'm super funny.
It's natural.
Exactly.
Well, besides karate and all that, any other interesting hobbies or facts we might not know about you?
I own a lot of musical instruments. I have several recorders, 2 flutes, several guitars, a baby drum set that a kid should play, a double bass, a violin, and a clarinet, and lots of musical instruments, none of which I know how to play. You know how people go into like I do, but really, really badly. You know how people go into bookstores and stuff? I used to love to go into bookstores and smell the books. They smell so good. And, you look at the titles, and that's a great title. And you read the introduction. It's like, oh, yeah, you buy the book and put it in your bookcase. That's kind of me with musical instruments and books, by the way.
It's nice to get that new book and just flipping through real quick and go,
Yeah, you smell it, you look at the cover, you see if there's any pictures in there, you read the last page, you read the first page and the last page, and you're done.
Well, interesting. That's how R.L. Stine, when he wrote Goosebumps books, he would write the last page first, and then he'd go back and write the whole story.
Interesting. Who is that now?
R.L. Stine, he wrote Goosebumps, Fear Street, really popular author. Yeah. So
that's a cool way to do it.
Yeah. I found that out. Like I read his autobiography, and when I was in school, I did a report on him and everything, and I was like, wow. So he just comes up with the end, like whatever the last page of each one was, the ending.
That's the first page you wrote.
Yeah, and then you go
really
back.
Interesting.
So
that's a very interesting way to do it. That's kind of like an actor, because you'll get a script as an actor, and you have to think before page 1. You have to think about who the character was before the beginning of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to give the beginning of the story weight and truth and life, right? You can't just start the character at page 1. You have to. So I understand that. That's a really, really cool thing to know.
And give your character a backstory if they're not given one.
Right. You gotta go backwards on it to lead you up to, whatever crazy thing you have to do. My philosophy is that everybody is normal at some point in time, but I play a lot of crazy people. So, but what turned them crazy? So you got to justify it. You got to believe in your character. You got to, not be out of judgment and in empathy. And you got to go backwards like that. So it's interesting that a writer would do that. I could see how that would be a really great way to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I found that interesting.
Yeah.
Was it I just watched the movie too, like speaking of like actors or getting into character, what was it, Under the Skin, Evil Under Skin, where you and your daughter were at the cabin. I can't think of the title right now, I'm sorry.
It's Evil Under Skin.
Yeah,
there we go. Yeah, that was another one I marathoned on today. I was watching a bunch of stuff today. Yeah, just
me and him was actually kind of watching it at the same time. He was about 15 minutes ahead of me, but I was like,
wow, yeah, Evil Under the Skin. Jeff Schneider, Luke Bernier wrote that. Yeah, but what do you think about that?
So how is it getting into those types of characters, that mental capacity when you read it?
Right.
What's your preparation?
Well, it's exactly like that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get it all the way to the end of that movie?
Oh yeah, I watched it all. In a way, I actually, except one part, I almost predicted a little bit of it, but there was a little bit more to it that I
did. You okay? Oh, wow, I'm surprised that you did.
So,
well, you don't play the outcome. You play the truth of the character in the moment. So, I played, for lack of a better word, I'm going to give it away, but I played the truth of the character in the moment with her daughter under the circumstances. And then weird things start happening that she cannot explain. And she's as confounded as the audience is. She really doesn't know what the heck is going on.
Yeah, I was a little confused at first. I'm like, wait, what's going on? Like, oh, okay, yeah, like
until the very end, you know. So with everything, just playing the truth of the moment at that moment is the way I attack it. But of course, yeah, the backstory, you know, the backstory is a mother who loves her daughter, and her daughter's getting older, and you know,
haven't seen each other in a while, and so.
Yeah, the relationship is distant, and she misses her, and she wants to reconnect with her, and maybe feels a little heartbroken about the fact that her daughter's somehow rejected her a little bit. And you know, it's heartbreaking, I'm sure, when parents, I know parents that are going through it right now with their teenagers and whatever. Well, you know, your teenager at a certain point in time, they hate you, they don't remember all the good stuff, you know, and it's heartbreaking. So I played a heartbroken mom, really. That's what I identified with, that part of it.
Yeah. Like I said, I'd like the ending. Like maybe about halfway through, I was like kind of having an idea of, you know, what was going on.
Yeah, we had an idea, but there was a twist to it that we didn't see
it was like,
ahead of time.
That part I didn't get. I was like 50-50.
I don't want, if we say too much, we'll spoil it for you.
Yeah, we don't want to give it away.
It was really hard, actually, because I'm always worried about playing characters like that, like how I am on set, because like Keanu, I am a bit of a method actor. And I can remember not being totally comfortable on set, you know, not with the people or whatever, but I in myself was not comfortable. You know what I mean? I was not I wasn't Helene. I was in the moment of that character. And again, we stayed at the house, so there was no respite from it. The house had a personality of its own that I found very depressing. Not because the house necessarily was really depressing, but because I was depressed. My character was depressed. So it was a tough shoot, actually. But I mean, so good in retrospect. And the director didn't hold it against me. He's hired me since. Thank God. And the writer is still a really good friend of mine, Luc Bernier. He's one of my best friends. So I'm forgiven. I don't always have to be good.
Do you have anything coming in the future that you are able to talk about?
I do. I did just finish a little Netflix trilogy called Disco Inferno. Well, my part of the trilogy is called Disco Inferno. Oh my God, what's Matt's last name? Matthew, the director's last name. Anyway, let me tell you as much as I can about it. It's a Netflix show. There's, I think, 3 projects. And it's a story, and it's a diversity program. I know that was what the whole big deal about it. It's been a well advertised thing, and the director is not a well-known genre director, but anyway, it is a genre movie. It is a horror movie, and I play a really wonderful character, and I'm not going to tell you too much about it because I can't.
Right.
But I'm really excited about it. I don't know when it's going to come out, but I think fairly quickly, and obviously on Netflix, because they have a lot of money.
I guess it's a Netflix original movie.
They don't have to sell it to Netflix, and Netflix owns it. And but I'm really excited about it because I think story's really great. The actors are really great. The director's amazing. The cinematographer is really great. One thing I noticed that was really, really cool about this, I want to say that, is that this diversity thing really has kicked in. And I would look on the set, and there would be a sea of women, which, you know, I've been in this business since I was 15. Really unusual to see a woman gaffer, a woman DP, woman, you know, PAs. There were very few men, like women outnumbered men by quite a bit on this, pulling cable, setting up lights, doing all the things, you know. And it really, really struck me because I've grown up in this industry pretty much, and always just never myself felt like, there are limits to what I can aspire to, because I was lucky enough to aspire to something that had room for women. Mm-hmm. But I did aspire to being a director, and I never thought, it's because I'm female that I'm having trouble. But in retrospect, that might have been one of the things.
Maybe something subconsciously.
subconsciously, well, they're just, but I'm here to say, boy, have we come a long way. And it struck me to see a female gaffer or a female DP, how unusual that would have been in my day. It would have just not happened. Like, I think about, another thing that I really love is music. I love music. And I remember as a kid, I used to conduct, to the music that was on the radio, whatever. Pretending I was a conductor. But how many female conductors are there in the world? Thank God I didn't aspire to it, because I would have been too early for this revolution. You know what I mean? And so it's such a beautiful thing now to go, wow, I know we say we haven't come a long way, but to see a set full of women with a male director, a really lovely guy. And the other thing that was really interesting was that all the men wore nail polish. Like, every man on set, like, nail polish is the new thing. And it was just kind of interesting. It was just beautiful. I love what's happening in the world right now. I think it's great. I think it's a liberation for everybody. I think that, we call it gender fluidity or whatever we call it. I am all for it. I think it is a beautiful thing for men to be able to express their femininity and women to express their masculinity in such a wonderful, dynamic way. It has nothing to do with the movie, but there you go.
Hey, we got beds, I guess, backstage.
You got a backstage.
Yeah, there we go. I was trying to think of a good wording for it.
You heard it here first, folks.
Heard it here first. Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely check that out. I'll look for it.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good show. Oh, for sure. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Sounds like it. Yeah. Even though I don't know the plot, but you're in it, so it don't matter.
and the special effects on this show, actually, talk about it, they're on set effects. What do you call it? It's real time. They're not digital effects. And practical. Thank you. And the makeup artist that did my practical effects, her name is Akiko. I don't know her last name, but pretty amazing.
Awesome.
Definitely be checking it out when it comes on. So it's called Inferno.
Disco Inferno.
Oh, Disco Inferno.
Part of a Netflix trilogy of genre films, like of horror films. I think all 3 films are horror. Okay.
It sounds almost like the Fear Street ones, like it's going to be 3 different ones, and you're just in the one called.
I'm just in one, yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Especially if it has practical effects, I'm in.
Exactly. Good practical effects now. They make sure.
Right.
So, nice.
And I love the director. And the actors were really talented. So it was so easy. It was fun. Yeah. So.
Is there anyone, speaking of actors, anyone that you haven't worked with yet that you would like to?
Actors that nobody's ever asked me that. I feel with a pressure of like saying something great, because I feel like a manifester. I feel like if I say it, it will happen. I have to say this because this is just easy to say. My favorite director has always been Martin Scorsese. And all my life, part of the way I kept myself stable as a human being in this acting world is that every audition I do, I kind of do it for Martin Scorsese. Like, I kind of pretend I'm in a Martin Scorsese movie every time I do an audition, and it keeps my work consistent to a certain flavor. Strangely, though, I got Dr. Quinn acting in a Martin Scorsese movie. Like, my audition was for Martin Scorsese, but it ended up on a family television show, Western family show. Like, obviously, my self-perception and what really comes out are 2 very different things. But strangely, I thought after all these years of projecting to Martin Scorsese that I would finally work with him, and it's never happened. So it's really dashed my belief in sort of self-realization. It's like, damn, where is that Martin Scorsese? Martin Scorsese is definitely one of the people I would love to work with. He's not an actor. But,
well, anyone in the business,
Second to Martin Scorsese, of course, Robert De Niro would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Martin Scorsese movie with Robert De Niro.
Yes,
you all say
double whammy right there. Yeah.
Or Keanu. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'd love to work with Keanu. Yeah.
Hey, maybe another Speed movie would be fun.
I've always wanted to be like a superhero. I have to say, like, I've always wanted to be, like I would have liked to be Keanu in Speed too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would like to be John Wickham. I would like to be that character. I would like to like fly off buildings and
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Just
Be
so
a badass and be superhero. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, Gina Davis, and I can't remember the movie. I guess her husband Rennie Harlan directed her in it. There've been tons of them, right? Oh, and the other one, the one Phoenix is married to her. Dragon Tattoo. Yeah. I'd love to be the Gina Davis movie. I can't remember what it was, but she was a very successful. I thought she really pulled it off. Like,
Was that the one where she was like, no, maybe it's not her. Like an assassin. Like an assassin. Oh, she was a mom. Was that she was also like an assassin? Okay. It wasn't The Professional. I know the movie you're talking about. Like it turns out she was like an assassin or something.
And I believed her. Gina Davis, of all people, I believed her. I thought that was great. That's the kind of character I'd like to play. Or the girl in the dragon tattoo. I thought she was pretty.
That was a good movie. The original one. Yeah.
The original one. Hey, quiet down, guys. Quiet down. Sorry, they're just greeting my roommate.
It's okay.
Them all at once. Oh, careful, guys. Romeo, quiet down. Quiet. They love my roommate. They all want to go say hi to her. But yeah, so that's like that's a genre I want to do. That's a genre I want to do. One day it'll happen. I try to keep myself in good enough shape that I can still fake it.
Right. The Long Kiss Goodnight. That was the movie.
Okay. Yes.
I had to look it up because I was like, that's going to bug me. I know the movie.
Yes. Thank you for finding it. I love that movie. And I thought she was amazing in it. She was total superhero. Like, everybody talks about the other Gina Davis movie with Susan Sarandon. Guys, cut it out. Bowie, he's not coming for you. Bowie is like, can't believe that my roommate is not opening the door and taking her in her arms. Anyway, it's not happening, Bowie. But anyway, yeah, I love that movie. The Susan Sarandon movie with Gina Davis, the one that everybody talks about. I love that movie, but that wasn't a superhero movie to me.
Right?
Yeah.
Different, I guess, meaning of superhero. I guess we'll put it that way.
Right. A different meaning of it. No, I want to be the vigilante.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy because, of course, I don't believe in guns and everything. But if I have to murder somebody for the truth, I'll do it.
It's make-believe in a movie anyway.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I'll say to myself.
Right.
I promote guns and violence.
Only in the movie. Only fictional. That's all.
Only fictional guns and violence. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I would have loved to have been in The Matrix. It's true. I would have loved to have been in The Matrix. Yeah.
Yeah. The Matrix has some awesome. Yeah, that'd be awesome to be all like running up the walls, all that crazy stuff.
Oh, dying to do stuff like that. What is her name? I love that actress. She's gorgeous too.
The one who plays Trinity.
Yeah. What's her name?
The Magic of Internet Movie Database.
I did see The Matrix, which is amazing, but and I loved The Matrix. And I loved her in it, but I haven't seen the most recent one.
It was an interesting twist how they did the new one. Like he was like a video game designer and his game was like The Matrix. Like the movies are based on his video game. Like he created it, and it ends up being real, of course, or not. Continue it and stuff. But I was like, oh, he's an award-winning game designer of The Matrix. That's kind of funny how they did that. I was like, that's an interesting twist.
Yeah. I will get around to seeing it, but there was so much hype. Again, it's one of those things, too much hype.
They always hype
about what everybody says before I can enjoy this movie because I just, one of those. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What's her name, though? She's
Carrie Ann Moss.
Oh, gorgeous. Yeah, I'd love to be Carrie Ann Moss. Darn it.
It's like maybe the next Matrix.
Maybe the next Matrix. They'll have to make me a lot taller, though.
Well, they can do anything in movies.
I want to take you seriously when you're 5'2". You know what I mean? Like as a superhero, you're 5'2". I actually have a very funny story. I know we've been going on forever, but anyway,
Oh, you're fine. I mean, as long as you want, we're good. It doesn't matter.
right. Jackson Ward did a movie called Vampire that is a remake of the old Vampire movie. A really talented director, filmmaker who has yet to finish this movie. And it's too bad because Jackson, you should finish the movie because it's a brilliant movie. I think he's done a brilliant job with it. But people get lost and that, you know, you get lost in your talent sometimes and these things happen. But the reason I mention this is because the way I got that part is that Jackson and his co-producer had a Zoom call, much like this with me. And of course, my voice is low and I'm, you know, slim enough and, you know, whatever. You don't know how tall I am. And it never occurred to me either. Right. So they gave me this part of this diabolical creature. And my co-lead is a martial artist and she's 5'8". And I'm supposed to dominate her. They pick me up from the airport and there is this moment where we all stare at each other. And they realized that they might have made a mistake. Like they never thought to ask me how tall I was. I wasn't concealing it. I didn't know that the co-lead was going to be like a goddess, right? So part of the problem with the movie might have been the fact that it was very hard for me to look overwhelming when this girl is towering over me. We're doing like a fight scene. And it's just like, oh my God.
How dare you?
So
maybe what's it like the small dog syndrome? You'd be mighty and small.
I'm having a Napoleonic complex. Like
the Chihuahua is like, we are Chihuahua.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have plenty of Chihuahuas and I know which ones take after me, but I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel tiny. I have a big personality. I think that on Zoom, you just would assume that I'm taller, but I'm tiny. Let it be known. I'm pretty tiny, but I wear high heels, very high heels. So I can be 5'6", 5'7", no problem. I can run in heels, directors. Don't worry. Ask me.
That always amazes me. Well, I can't wear high heels, but that always amazes me. Somebody be able to run in those shoes. I have enough trouble trying to stand in those things.
Oh,
so I can't wear. I have to have like a flat that's can't be spiky. It has to be flat and be no bigger and like that. And I was like, I can't.
Really? I know. I've been practicing since I was like 10 years old. I've been wearing high heels.
You know, it shocked the hell out of me. John Barrowman, who's in Arrow, and he was in Doctor Who. He played John Harkin, and what was the other one besides Doctor Who? There was the spinoff. But anyway, he was the main character in that. And in real life, you know, he's got a husband and everything, which doesn't matter, you know, whatever. You know, he's happy to live his life. But he was at a convention, and he had high heels. Like, I swear, like about this.
Oh yeah, I've seen videos of him wearing like a artist dress.
He just walked really
and rocking some high heels, and he looks amazing.
How fast it was, and he's like, "Ladies, some of you need to pay attention to this, lady." And he just was walking like, I mean, it was like, oh my gosh! And he was
wearing high heels because he felt he was too short, or was he wearing high heels because he just liked heels?
He likes heels. He likes wearing dresses and heels.
Doctor Who dresses, and I mean, yeah,
and he looks amazing too.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. He plays like such a badass, and he's just like, so that's. I mean, he's a great guy.
It's like completely opposite of his character.
That is so wonderful because, you know, I mean, there was a time not so long ago, and I was part of that time where, you know, people could not express themselves like that. I can't imagine the kind of emotional pain, the emotional schism that you're going through if you have to conceal something that is so deeply embedded to your personality because, you know, having to just lie about your life, just terrible times. I mean, I just can't imagine it. And it's so great that he can get cast as that kind of character and on his off days wear heels. I think it's great that people give him the grace of knowing he can act. Right.
Oh yeah.
You know, whereas, you know, you don't have to walk in and be the character. I mean, I remember, I'm not going to say what movie it was, but I remember there was a movie in which I played a nerd, and I walked in for the audition, totally having done my backstory and whatever in the character at the moment, feeling very true about it. I mean, acting is not lying; acting is being. And then I went to sign the contract later on, and I showed up in my sunny blonde, the flowered mini skirt, because I was on my way to the beach and whatever. And when they saw me walk in, they're like, "Who are you?" And they were like furious with me. They thought that I had lied to them, and they reduced my part in the movie based on the fact that they thought they had hired the character, and they were insecure about my ability to pull that character off, because my sunny California self presented as so different. And I learned my lesson very quickly. I'm like, you know what? Never show up on set looking anything other than the character, because people get nervous. They get really nervous. It's funny.
Oh, wow, that's unfortunate.
In fact, in this
matter, I mean, if you got talent, I mean, it's acting. It's a talent.
Right. Yeah. It's about pretending, about being.
People are crazy about it. Right. Like in this Disco Inferno, the character's hair is gray. I did the audition with gray hair. I put a gray rinse in my hair. And for all the costume fittings, I showed up with gray hair. I just was there. They were taking pictures, and I just didn't want to make anybody nervous, and I just showed up with gray hair. But it was only on the first day of set, I had to show up with my color hair, because I told the makeup, I had to confess to the makeup and hair people, listen, you're dealing with somebody. This is rinse. I want you to know. And that was the first time that I let anybody see me not looking like the character. So, it's better. I don't never take a chance anymore, because, so that's why I like, amen. If you can walk around with heels on and still get various other jobs, hooray,
So he was even like, after you were saying ladies pay attention, he goes, yeah, you can even bend down and do the slut snap. And he's just so funny.
Yeah, he's hilarious. But he rocks those outfits. I couldn't.
He comes on stage. I forget which convention it was. It might have been Dragon Con. I think that was the one that he did that at. Well, he's done it at other conventions too. But he came out on stage in a Doctor Who dress and had like the phone booth or whatever. He's like, oh, I just whipped this up last night. I can't sound exactly like him, but I mean,
that's fantastic. I love that. I love that. It's fantastic.
Yeah, but he can run in heels too. It just amazes me. Anybody can run in heels.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, now my arm's disappearing into skeletons. You can't see that.
Yeah, they're pretty spiky heels. I wouldn't say stiletto, but they're pretty.
You know what? Heels. Like those hooker heels, those stripper pole heels. They are surprisingly firm, because they are made for you to be able to like jump on them and whatever. They actually are pretty like all those like really high heels. They're pretty. They are sturdier than a lot of delicate looking heels that I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the secret. That's how the hook do it.
Just like the book, it's the secret. Secret's out.
Yeah, I don't care who you are. It's just I just can't. Well, now I can't because my leg's messed up. But yeah, I never was ever to wear those things.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't your style to begin with, right?
Right. Yeah, it's not. I don't mind wearing like dressy type shoes, but my type is more of a sandal dressy shoe than like an actual dressy shoe. It's just more my style. But
yeah. Not me. I like heels.
Well, I mean, it's been over 2 hours now. I mean, it's been fun.
I think we've had a good run. This has been great. We've ended talking about fashion, which I think is
there you go.
Wonderful.
So horror to fashion, whatever, we cover everything here.
Covered it all.
So but thank you for joining us for Women in Horror Month and everything. So
thanks guys so much for having me. It was so fun.
All right. Yep. And we'll keep an eye out on that next show. And you're always welcome back to whatever, if anything new comes up. So,
all right. All right. Bye, you guys. Bye. I don't know how to turn this off, but
I just hit leave studio at the bottom there.
Yep.
Well, then I have to actually read it. Hang on.
It's a red button if that helps.
It says mute, stop, settings. Okay. Am I showing my age? Exit full screen.
Oops. The leave studio.
Leave studio.
I don't have that.
It should be right next to, there should be like a mute, stop cam, settings, share, and then
Yeah.
leave studio.
It's a red X says leave studio.
Nope. But I can do that. I can. Oh wow, we're frozen. Oh, you had me leave studio already. Oh, you did it.
Oh,
There we go.
see,
We found it.
I
She
think
was
that was
fun.
one of the great exits. Bop.
We have an oh and a boop.
That's because she got cut off, but bless
That's
her.
all right.
She's
Wow,
great.
she stayed a lot longer than I thought. That's
Yeah,
fun.
she was great.
So yeah, I guess we'll figure out for next week. But the 9th, Chanel Ryan will be coming on since she wasn't feeling well this past week at 7:00 instead of the 4:00 time. So hopefully she'll be feeling better, I'm sure. So she was disappointed that she couldn't join in, so she rescheduled for the 9th. The 12th of April, which is a Tuesday, 7:00. Nathan Basil from Behind the Mask, Leslie Vernon, will be joining us. And I think that's what we got up to so far. The 23rd, one of our Polonia pals, she hasn't had a one-on-one interview with us yet. Jenny Russo will be joining us.
That's right. I got to make a note about that.
So, yep. So that's who we got planned. And we'll see about rescheduling Tristan Risk as well. So, but that's pretty much the plan coming up. And unless anyone else...
what was the date for Jenny again? I'm sorry.
The 23rd.
I think I spelled her name right. Oh, I'll figure it out. But at least I have a note down now.
Yeah.
I meant to do that the other day and I forgot.
So, yeah. Alrighty then. So I'm gonna head out. I guess that's it for our upcoming shows. And thanks for everyone who watched and listening to the replay. And see you next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye.